Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Hi, Jackie. So happy to have you here. My name is Adriana Ostapenko. This is my YouTube channel. We talk all things real estate, mindset, business, success, all of it. I'm here with a good friend of mine, Jackie. She's an awesome real estate investor. She's also a mindset coach and just a really good friend of mine. I know their family well, the kids and Leo. So it's so nice to talk to you. I'm so excited to dive into some great topics with you. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Adriana. Hi, everyone. I'm Jacqueline Francis. I'm the other half of LJ. If you guys know us on Facebook. And I have a business with my husband, Francis 5 Properties. So I'm so happy to be here with Adriana today. And as she mentioned, we have been good friends for a while, and it's just amazing. She's an amazing soul, and I'm so excited to dive into this today. So thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So tell me a little bit about you and Leo and what got you guys started in real estate.
Yeah, so real estate was not something like me personally I had ever thought about. Leo dabbled a bit, and he bought a first condo. That was like the thing to invest in, right? Everybody, let's go buy a condo. Yeah. And then after that, he came to me in 2016 and was like, hey, I heard this thing on the radio. Do you want to go check it out? And for me personally, I was like, I'm very supportive. So I'm like, absolutely, sure, let's go. Why not? We can have a date while we're driving to wherever we're going, right? So I went, and I was actually really amazed at the information that I had heard, and it really blew me away. I was very excited to get started. So Leo was intrigued as well and decided to say, okay, let's move it along a little further and jump into the next level of this. So we went to like another 3-day event, and at that we were also like, oh my gosh, where has this been all our lives? Like, it really changed how we thought about a lot of stuff, and we never thought that this information could really change our lives. And then it got us thinking, and we're like, okay, let's try to move forward with this. Ended up joining Inspire, as you know, and that's where we got our foot in the door. So it was amazing, got started with that. But at the time, my kids were young. I have 3 kids and they were small. Leo, I also own a trucking business with Leo. So I was mainly doing all of the admin stuff, and it was perfect for our lives at the time. We thought we were doing phenomenal, and that's, where it was. And then you dive a little bit deeper and you start to realize, what, we want more out of life, and that yearning for more starts to get you uncomfortable. And then you start, well, it's not even you. I think things just start coming in your path once you make a decision that you want more. And that's what started to happen. We decided to take a break from it because, as I mentioned, things were going well and we didn't want to move forward. And then a couple of years later, we're like, okay, we gotta revisit this. Like, let's see if we can really take it seriously, because there's something here for us. If we invest in real estate, this is the way that we're going to get our time back, and we're going to grow, and we are going to achieve the things that we want out of life. So in 2019, we made that decision again to really take it seriously. And from there, doors started opening up. We were able to purchase our first multifamily property in February of 2020. So that was really exciting. And also in 2021. And here we are in 2023.
I'm curious, was there anything specific that pushed you to go the first time? Because there was something that clicked, or at least Leo, but I'm sure like you guys did it together. And then what clicked the second time where you're like, okay, now we're doing this?
Yeah, so the first time I would just say, like, hearing the information, things like don't pay off your mortgage. We were listening to investors talk about how they have made so much money, either private lending out there. We didn't even know what private lending was. So that was even a huge turning point for us. We're like, what? We can lend out our money and then we can make money off of that? Like, where have we been living? So these little things really kept us like, okay, there's something here. All we have to do is maybe buy a couple properties. Or for us, we actually wanted to be passive investors. So in 2016, we decided to do a deal with, they are called it wasn't Graybrook. It was another like private lending company, Valor Mortgages, I believe they were called at the time. Through Pro Funds. Yes, it's Pro Funds. That's what it was. And we're like, we're going to be passive investors. We're going to grow our portfolio this way. And it wasn't so. We quickly decided we wanted to be active.
So, about our history together, because we met all the way back, apparently. What, did we meet in 2016?
We did, yes. So the first time that I saw you was on stage. No, in 2019. I had first seen you on stage and you were talking about your business and just how much you have scaled. And I was so impressed by it that I was like, I came up to you afterwards and I'm like, hi, Adriana, I'm Jacqueline. You had given me your Instagram account. You're like, call me anytime. And I was just blown away watching you on stage. I was like, wow, this lady is so phenomenal. I can't believe she's done all these things. And you just talked about your journey at that point. And, you know, a couple years later, I would have never thought like we would be friends. But it goes to show you the power of like what life can bring for you, right?
100%. And what I love about that is I also started in 2016. I joined, you know, the same organization in 2016 as well. And that's when my journey started too. So fast forward to 2019, like there was another click for you. Was there any specific like why or anything that drove you towards real estate? And this time you're like, hey, we're actually like doing this actively?
Yeah. So again, I was just kind of oblivious to a lot of the stuff, but I found like Leo was the driving force because he was the one that's putting in the hours for the trucking business. So he's, you know, 7 days a week sometimes, right? Like 12, 13 hours a day. But I'm home with the kids. I'm just doing the work in the office. And I didn't see a lot of what he was feeling and seeing. He hides that really well, but he was like, I've got to get my time back. And then he started talking to me about, and like, I mean, I do know he's working long hours. I just didn't know that he was feeling that way and was like, I don't want to be doing this for the rest of my life. There's got to be a different way. And real estate is going to be the way to get us out of losing our time. If we can find a way to get our time back, we can do so much more other things in this world. And that was the driving factor of this time taking it seriously and to really make up our minds that we are going to make this work because there's no other option. There's no going back.
I love that. That's amazing. That's so true. Time freedom, you know, is a big one for a lot of people that drives them towards something like real estate, investing in general, but real estate specifically. And also from 2019 to now, you guys have done a lot. Like there's been such massive growth, and you're also doing that while you're still managing the business full time and the family. And in you specifically, the growth that you've experienced, like in your self-development over the last few years has been insane to be able to watch that. It's so exciting to watch from, you know, my perspective here, but the growth that you guys have experienced in not just doing the transactions and all the things, but like in self-development, in your clarity, in your self-awareness, like it's crazy.
Yeah, I feel like it all comes along with the journey. You decide to invest into yourself. And when we joined, that was a huge commitment we had to make. And that's not easy. We've never done anything like that before. I mean, we had a bit of a lack mindset, like, oh my gosh, so much, this. But now you start embarking on who you become. And you are different. But when you first decide to join to who you are in the moment, like of being now, that's a massive growth and shift in becoming that person and knowing that you have to invest into yourself because you don't have the same mindset being an entrepreneur as you do working a secure job and you know you're getting a paycheck at the end of the day. There's a lot more to it when it's your own business. And we had to go through that in terms of, yes, we were business owners, but we weren't on, and I'm sure you've read Rich Dad Poor Dad, on the other side of that quadrant where we are business owners, but we are getting back our time, right? And So the growth came when we started to make a lot of these decisions for ourselves, and that led to in meeting other people, like-minded people that were also on the same journey. When I met you, it was amazing because I was like, okay, yeah, like she has these great ideas. You were always talking to me about, you know, how can I be of help and how can I be of service to you? And like you helped me to look at things a different way as well. So then you get all these amazing people into your life. You start really wanting to, like, it makes you level up because you're like, okay, wait a second, you know, I gotta up my game too. Like, what are these people studying? Like, I gotta be in on this. And then you start doing the things, right? Reading the books, you start making time, like you become intentional about how you spend your days, what you give your attention to, who you hang out with, and day by day, month by month, you know, the change begins to happen.
I love that so much. I'm actually going to recap this because I've been continuously trying to put that message out there. And I think you said it so perfectly. One is invest in yourself. That every single change that I've experienced in my life started with that. With investing in myself. That does mean go buy that course, you know, go join that network or go join that mastermind, you know, make those investments in yourself, first of all, to get yourself the right information, the right people, the right places to push yourself forward. The other thing is the network. Who are you spending your time with? Like, go spend time with the people that not only uplift you, but serve as like an exciting example to you of normalizing success and normalizing, you know, scale and normalizing from financial, but family, any of the things they really valuable to you. Go join the people that have similar values and are doing the things. And what a difference it makes when you're in that environment, pushing each other. We've been part of masterminds together more than once, and it's crazy the impact that it has because you're sitting there and people are sharing, you know, not only these are good friends and have amazing values that match yours, they're doing these crazy things and it normalizes it. You're like looking at the other person like, oh, they're doing this, I can do this, you know?
Yes. And that's the thing, like, you know, we're not, you know, any different from, you know, celebrities. Like, we're everyday people. And if I'm looking at you and I'm like, wow, she's done this, why can't I can do that as well? And a lot of people have a misconception that just because you're doing something amazing, they don't feel that they can do it, right? And I mean, that's a limiting belief that if you get rid of that, you know that I'm just as capable as you. I just have to be willing to be able to do that and say, I am going to do that. Make that commitment to myself that it's going to happen. Get around rooms where, like you said, people are successful and doing better than you. What's that quote that's so famous? 95, like you are the
average of the five people.
Yeah, like so amazing.
I love that. That's so agree with that. And then the other thing you said was the intentionality piece. Like, you know, we choose to live very intentional lives.
Yes.
I do that. And I notice when you put together a combination of all these factors, from investing in yourself to being surrounded by the right people, to being intentional about what your values are, what your goals are, and be intentional to say, hey, I like believe in yourself of like, I'm doing the things. And then after that, it's a daily, like you said, it's a day by day, you just compounding all those things, you're compounding to really incredible results that come by really fast too. Like how much we've been able to scale and grow in such a short period of time. It's crazy. Like putting together this formula and ultimately just living it day to day. I love that. In terms of your portfolio, let's dive into that. I know you have a mixture of different things in your portfolio. I'm gonna recap what I remember or know about. You tell me if I'm wrong or if there's anything else. So I know you have a condo. I think you still do. You partnered on a condo at some point or two.
Yes.
You have some multifamily. So I believe you have 2 or 3 buildings somewhere in Ontario. And I know you have some vacation property in Curacao. So tell me about this.
Okay, so you're absolutely right. We have partnered on a condo with some really great investor friends of ours. We also have 2 pre-constructions, and we're just figuring out what we're going to do with that because, you know, we understand at this point pre-construction. Yeah, so I'll leave that one. With the multifamilies, we invested in Niagara Falls. So yes, we do own 2 buildings, and we're in the process of getting them completed on renovations and then stabilized this year, which we're really looking forward to. And exciting, but true, is our development in Curacao. So we bought a piece of land with some investor friends of ours as well. Amazing people. And we are going to build some vacation rentals there. Leo is actually in Grenada for the next couple of weeks, working on our stuff there, and he is committed to finding some land and possibly working on getting our Airbnbs up and going there as well. So that's really exciting. And we've actually just landed on a land development deal that we purchased a piece of land in Oshawa, and we're going to build 2 single-family homes on the land. And it's our first, I guess, introduction into building, which we're very excited about, and see where it takes us.
Holy, congratulations.
Thank you.
You guys don't waste time. It's a lot going on. I love it. Out of all this, and I know Leo is the one that's like takes a lot of the grunt on the real estate side, all the strategies that you guys have done so far, do you have a favorite and why?
So we haven't even done it yet, but I am so in love with development. I think it's just something that is phenomenal. Like, you get to see this piece of land that's dirt, and then you have a vision of like a building or a house, and you can build it from nothing. And it's this amazing piece of property that you can either live in or you can, share with other people, and you give them the opportunity to live in something you've created. You're creating homes for people. Like, that's such a great feeling. So right now that is mine. So I'm excited to really dive into it. But besides that, I do like the multifamily burst strategy. I think that's also fabulous, because you take a not so amazing building and you turn it into something so livable and so gorgeous that you're very proud of the work that you put into it, and your tenants are very happy and proud of living in a beautiful space that you've created.
I love that. Amazing. Looking forward to hearing more about the development as it goes through. I've been doing a development for a year now, and it's been such an interesting, massive learning process. Still feel super new to it, even though we've been in it for a year, because development just has its own pace. Like,
so much to learn.
It's also like there's like long periods where nothing feels like it's happening, you're just waiting and waiting. So it's been interesting. I'm really super excited to like move it forward and experience, the combination of it all. So we should get on another call later on the development side of things.
Yes. So can I ask you a question, actually?
Yeah, of course.
With you just saying that, so what has allowed you to stay focused? Because you just mentioned that sometimes there's long periods of time. So how do you get over that hurdle of like feeling like maybe you want to give up, or that might not be something that you should have taken on? How have you dealt with that?
That's a great question, and it's a daily thing. Because there is periods where I'm like, no, thank you. Like, what is this? Because differently, and I'm also comparing so heavily to multifamily. Like, while we've had this like development going, I already purchased 70 units, like, like, I'm like, come on, like, where is the pace of this thing? And what's interesting about development that's different than multifamily is there's a lot of unknowns. You're putting in this application, and there's money involved because you're creating the concepts, you hired the engineer, hired the architect to go through the city. You don't know what they're going to say. In our case, our first suggestion was to tear down a 6 units, which is beautiful and historic, that was sitting on our land, to build a purpose-built 68-unit apartment building. Wow. And that got shut down by the community because they were not interested in having us tear down that 6 units. So we're like, okay, we hear you. That's fair. It is a beautiful property. We're just finishing burning that out right now. And then we're submitting a different proposal for this time for 40 units, purpose built in the front, and then a 20 unit at the back, townhouse style, and just kind of severing the lot in 3. So that's been an interesting process. It took us about a year to get here. So
you've had to pivot. You'd had to figure out like, oh my gosh, this is our, you thought this was going to be your path, and then it changed, and you're like, okay, we've got to figure this out. Wow.
That's a really good point. Like, pivoting is massive in what we do. We do that in the multifamily side too. We go into a project with a projection, an idea, what that's going to look like. And as you're going through it, how many times do you pivot?
I know. Yeah, or like numbers end up changing a bit. So you're like, okay, but it comes down to, I think, as individuals, how do we stay strong in times like that, right? Because we've had a few challenges where we're like, I don't know if we can move forward with this, but it for us personally, we had to keep thinking about the end goal and say, this is the reason we started, and we want this beautiful building, and we know we're going to get there. It's just, let's just keep holding on. There's a purpose for us here.
So you had asked this, and like, I'm going to try to answer too, because I have been thinking about this, and I do have a strategy in order to get myself to keep going when sometimes I don't feel like it. One is give yourself some grace, like, if something sucks, it sucks. Like, it's okay. You know what? I'm going to take a couple of days here. There's going to be a little bit of self-pity that goes on, but I'm going to like come back at it. What allows me to keep going is I find ways to get excited about it all over again. And sometimes I have to find new ways, because I was excited about something, didn't quite go as planned. So now it feels discouraging. You don't really want to keep going at that point. I'm like, okay, let me take a step back. Let me reimagine what's so exciting about this, right? And it could be different things. It could be the financial returns, which is always a part of it, but it could be like the value that we're adding to the community, or the experience of going through something, or the conversations that I'm having. And I re-energize myself by getting excited all over again. I remember our very first fourplex that we bought. It was a lot of work. It was so much work. Like, the most amount of work I put into a property was that first fourplex.
Wow.
There was a point, maybe like a year in that we owned it, that I was just done. I was just like, oh my God, I started hating the property. I just started having a bad attitude around it. I'm like, the tenants are so high maintenance. I always have to go there. There's always something. And I remember doing this process of taking it back and being like, I'm going to change my attitude from, grumpiness and resentment to gratitude instead. So I just started being intentional about that. I would wake up in the morning, I would do my gratitude journal. I'm like, this property has allowed us so much learnings. I'm so thankful that I have 4 tenants like paying their rent every month. I'm so thankful that we own this piece of property. I'm so thankful that we brought the appreciation up. I'm so thankful this is going to be life changing for my kids. And just like changing my attitude around. I'm like, I'm going to stop complaining. You know what? This is amazing. Like, I'm so happy that I'm here. And then I changed my feeling around the whole thing. When I used to go to the property next, I just came with a different attitude. I'm like, this is my property. You know what? I'm going to love it. I'm going to like appreciate it. I'm going to enjoy the tenants. I'm going to build relationships. And honestly, that property made us so much money. Like, we ended up selling and it made us so much money. So I think that that's part of it. How do you turn stressful moments into gratitude moments instead? And it starts to change your mindset around how you see something.
It does. I love what you said there, because it's like you chose your thoughts. You chose how to feel better about this. Like, nothing outside of you could do that for you until you had to go in and say, okay, this is not working. How can I come back stronger? I'm going to choose different ways of thinking. I'm going to choose to be happy and look at all the amazing things that this property has brought to me. And then like that, your feelings start to change, and you just said it, right? Your perspective changed. Life is about perspective, and we can choose to live in darkness or we can choose the light. But that's a choice that we have. I love it.
I love it too. It's so true, because nothing about the exterior circumstances changed, until I changed. When I changed and my feelings changed and my thoughts changed around it, I did experience a different result that was way more, and attracted a different result for way more of what I wanted than me acting the way I was acting before. So that's been the same process of development. I have moments where I'm like, oh, we did all this work, we spent all this money, it didn't go well, like, we're going to pivot. And then like choosing very intentionally to navigate my thoughts and feelings around it, to get excited all over again. I go back to the renter, I start talking to people about it. I'm like, I'm building this thing. Like, I start imagining myself walking through the building, a 40-unit building being built that is mine, that I dreamt up, that I put so much work into it. I'm like, I want to take the kids. So I think about that, and that gets me excited and grateful for the journey and the experience that keeps me going until we get there. So I love that. We're talking about mindset right now, so I want to shift in more direction because, first of all, it's impossible to talk to you and not talk mindset. No, that's for one, because we're both so intentional about our mindsets. I know you have gone through recently. You've gone through some, training and education, and just really diving in much deeper into that. I'd love to hear about your experience with that coaching program that you took, and what's happening from here on, and how is that going to, bring so much value to everybody else.
I love that. Thank you for that question. Yes. So again, the personal development really changed my life. I had a bit of a transition in my life a couple of years ago. And because of that, we got into real estate. Like you always look back in your life and you start to see the pieces fit together after you've gone through the things. And I can say that I've done that. And then it's just brought me better and better results. And I have taken control of my life by, just like what you've said, being able to focus my thoughts on things that bring me more joy, that I can look at life and be so grateful for everything around me, because that's how I want to live. I want to live like that. I don't want to be living, I guess you can say, unconsciously with, and allowing the outside to influence how I feel or what I think. When you take control of that, you become very powerful in being of service to others, being an example to others, and, for yourself. So that journey started for me, and I wasn't sure where it was going to go. Ended up meeting my current mentor right now, this lady named Hina Khan. She's absolutely phenomenal. And just at that time that I met her, she was having her second cohort of her coaching program. So I thought, okay, do I do this? Like, it just seemed to feel right at the time. So I said, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to dive in and take this program. And it's taught me so much. It's brought so much more awareness to me. Continue to grow just means, you are accepting the uncomfortable and being okay with a path that feels scary at first, but feels like you are meant to be on it. And
can you give me an example? Like, tell me, can you give an example of something that you have where you have experienced that?
Yeah. So for example, like public speaking, or even doing a video like this with you, I don't think a year ago even I would have been okay with it. I would have felt so nervous and so upset. But it's the conscious awareness and expanding my consciousness really to say, you know what, I can be whoever I want to be. And if I'm choosing to be someone that speaks about life and speaks about mindset, well, let me show up. Let me show up for myself, right? And you build who you want to be. Who you become, you can write that out, because I was shy. I was very shy. Or maybe that was a story I just told myself, right? And then you start working through the things that are holding you back. And I've learned all of this through the program, and I'm obsessed. And I feel that everyone should know this. Everyone should know how to live life. If we're here on this planet, let's find a way to make it beautiful. Let's find a way to make everything in our lives phenomenal, because you can just have a better experience as you go through the challenges and hurdles, when you know how to switch your mindset or pivot in certain directions, rather than feeling like, oh my gosh, I can't. And it's okay to go through that and absolutely feel the feelings for a moment, but then pick yourself back up and know how beautiful life is. And having the mindset of knowing that sometimes things are happening for you and not to you makes a big difference, right? Because when you look back, you realize that closed door really opened up something better for me. There's always better for us.
I love that. I also would love to share again from my perspective, because I see you pushing yourself out of your comfort zone when it came to public speaking. Not only public speaking, but specifically your example here. I remember when we went to the Real Power Conference in Niagara, and you were speaking there about your deal. And I remember you coming to me after. I'm like, oh my gosh, I felt so nervous. I'm like you did amazing. That was incredible. I don't know. I remember saying to you, it's not about you. It's about the people that you're serving. Because I use that trick myself, or to shift my brain into I'm here for the people. It's less about me. And that helps me a lot when I'm public speaking myself. But I remember how much you push yourself out of your comfort zone then, and have so many times ever since. And even this, you're the one who messaged me like, hey, I'd love to be on a YouTube channel. Like, fantastic. Like, you're putting yourself out there, you're getting out of your comfort zone, and it's going to keep getting better and better the more you do it, as you know. Because first of all, you're practicing. First of all, like, you're getting more confidence, you get better at it, you get better at putting yourself out there, but also at speaking itself. Like, we were just on Friday at a different conference, different event with, women in real estate, business women. We had 3 good friends that spoke from stage, and to some of them it was new, and you could tell it was nerve-wracking, and it was, I'm like, this is the process. It's just putting yourself out there, making yourself uncomfortable. But within that, you find brand new versions of yourself that you didn't even know it existed. That's where the discomfort comes in. You're like experiencing different versions of yourself. Like, it feels, it's not normal. It's not comfortable. It's not me. It feels like that, but it is you in the process of becoming, the person that you're pushing yourself to be. So I love that for you. I'm so excited. Tell me a little bit about what you're hoping to do with it.
Okay, so I am almost completed my certification program, and I'm looking to hop on board with starting my own business. So I'm going to do this full time on the side from real estate. I love real estate. That's my passion. But I feel like I can be of service to so many more people, because there's just such an important message here that I want to share. It's changing my life. Like, it's changing my life right now. And every day and every moment I get more and more into this material, I'm seeing changes, not only in myself, but in people around me. When I can help you, look at something a little bit different. And what you said earlier about it doesn't become about us anymore, right? When you are about to step on stage and you are about to share something with someone, that's right. It's not about you. Like, you take that away from you, because then you're making it about you, and it's about the person. It's about who you're in front of. The most important person is a person in front of you at that moment, and your message to them. So I'm looking to start my own coaching program and had to work with some one-on-one clients, hopefully run a group coaching program as well for anyone that's looking to make some massive shifts in their life. But you have to be willing to do the work and invest into yourself, because it can get scary and it can get very uncomfortable when you start to come to realizations of things that felt normal for you. And then you're like, wait a second, is that why I'm getting these results? Oh my gosh. But it all starts from within. We've got to take that leap of faith, because if we don't, that's if you want change. If you want to remain the same, hey, no problem. You can stay absolutely the same, and that's cool too. But if you want to see some major changes in your life, you got to go within. That's where the transformation begins.
I love that. I so agree with that. It's also impossible to be around you and not feel uplifted and not feel like encouraged and, just positive and energetic. So you are transformational to everybody around you. So I'm so excited, that you're going and following that passion, because it's so clear, it's so visible from anybody that knows you. It feels so right, and I know it's just going to be so amazing, such an amazing addition to your life, but the value that you're going to bring to everybody else. So I'm very excited about that.
Thank you so much. And I received that so well. And again, it comes to surrounding yourself with amazing, like-minded people, because sometimes you don't see the light in you until other people start to see it in you. And I think that's what really brought me to this point in my life, when I started hanging out with you and all of our other friends. And you realize how you can grow as a person when people are like, we truly love you. We truly see this about you. Like, why don't you see it in yourself? And then you start seeing it in yourself because you're being supported so much. And then that transformation begins within yourself. So thank you for being amazing.
It's my pleasure. I love that. I love that we're able to do that for each other. This was what birthed the mastermind idea for us, was exactly to put ourselves in an environment where everybody is just being able to pour into each other and serve as a reflection of the best version of you. Because when you get to see yourself in the mirror, we're so often so self-critical. How about we do it differently? How about you look in the mirror and you see the best things about yourself?
Yes.
How valuable and transformational is that? I love that. Jackie, this has been like amazing. How can people find you?
Okay, so I am on Instagram and you can reach out to me. I will leave the information in the show notes. So I'll give it to Adriana. I'm also on Facebook. So reach out, DM, all of the things, and let's connect. If you are looking for some shifts in your life or just want to talk about real estate, yeah, let's connect, let's chat. Let me help you. Thanks.
Yes. If you're looking for transformation in your life, reach out to Jackie, follow their journey, have a conversation with her, and you'll know exactly what I mean. By all the things that I said. I love you, my friend. Have a really amazing, wishing a really amazing week since it's Monday. And
thank you.
It was so good to have you. We will be chatting again very soon. I'll see you on Friday as well.
Excited. Thank you. It was my pleasure. I appreciate everything you're doing here and just speaking to everyone and getting your message across and showing people that, you know what, real estate investing, life, it all goes hand in hand. You just got to take that faith. You got to put that faith in yourself and move forward in life. I love it.
I love it. Thank you so much. If you want to hear more content like this, subscribe and share this video as well with others. We will see you very soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye.